Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, you can probably tell that this is not my normal setup. Mrs. Sujano and I are traveling and exploring, and I'm recording where I can, when I can, to get the news to you. And we've got a lot of news to go over here, so come along with me and let's talk some news. So first up on the docket, we're talking about Nintendo 3DS emulation on Android with Citra MMJ, which is a performance-based fork of Citra. Citra MMJ is still alive and well, and for those wondering, MMJ and Citra MMJ stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano. And Citra MMJ just got a brand new update. If you are interested and wanted to learn more about this one, like everything we talk about, links will be within the GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. I don't hide my sources. Moving on, and it's raining a little bit, so we're trying to stay dry here. And if you're interested in building your own fight sticks or custom controllers, you might be interested in this brand new update. So GP2040CE just got a brand new update, where the CE in GP2040 stands for Community Edition, and also something else I just can't quite put my finger on it. Anyways here, it's a gamepad firmware for the Raspberry Pi Pico and other boards based on the RP2040 microcontrollers that combine multi-platform compatibility, low latency, and a rich feature set to provide endless customization. And it just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, the latest and greatest version of GP2040CE is version 0.7.12. And with this update, there's a whole bunch of brand new stuff here, fixes, and even more. Hall effect support along with a robust configuration suite through WebConfig. A new input mode called Switch Pro, which more closely mimics the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. Switch 2 compatible. And Xbox 360 mode no longer requires a dongle to be connected and will still authenticate. Moving on, and we're talking about Nintendo Switch emulation on Android with Pine. And Pine also got a brand new update. So for those who may be unaware, Pine is an experimental emulator that runs on ARM v8 Android devices. And at the time of filming, version 2.1.0 of Pine is the latest and greatest release. Now this update adds a whole bunch of fixes, tweaks, and improvements to the overall emulator, and I would say Pine is not near as popular as something like Eden, but at the same time it is an alternative. And speaking about alternative Switch emulators, next up here we're talking about Hydra, which is an experimental Nintendo Switch emulator for Mac OS. And Hydra just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, version 0.2.3 of Hydra is the latest and greatest update. And they say here under official games, fix yellow and green sludge outlines in Celeste in Chapter 3, fix white ground in Disgaea 5, fix black screen in Sonic Mania, title screen images in Super Mario Odyssey now render properly, and even more. And continuing to talk about Switch emulation, next up here we're talking about the legendary Eden. And Eden version 0.0.4 release candidate 2 is the latest and greatest update. So taking a look at the changelog here, and for Linux users, there seems to have been a pretty big bug that has been fixed. They say here they fixed a bug that prevented any game from launching. I would say that might be a win. On top of that, they say you can now play CTG PDX and stuff since ASLR is now implemented properly. Should fix a bunch of Skyline mods as well. On top of that, there's a bunch of fixes, improvements, and even more. And they fixed audio cutoffs on the Steam Deck. And they do say for NVIDIA Vertex explosions and AMD fixes for Pokemon ZA. They're not in this release, and be patient. Moving on, and we're switching from emulators to ROMs and talking about ROMM, or ROMM, which is a beautiful self-hosted ROM manager. And ROMM just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, version 4.4.0 is the latest and greatest update for ROMM. Now we've talked about some of these updates in previous videos when ROMM was looking at a release candidate. Anyways here, there's alternative box art and even more stuff. So they say here, spice up your collection with 3D physical and mixed media box art, courtesy of Screen Scraper. Start by configuring which media assets to download in your config.yml file. And speaking about ROMs and emulators, next up here we're talking about RetroArch, and RetroArch just got a brand new update. Now before we get into that, how about I show you a cock in a tree. So I saw this the other day when we were in Florida, and I forgot to showcase it in my video, so here you go. It's a rooster in a tree. I don't know what he's doing up there, why he's even up there in the first place, but there you go. And I also saw a rooster today as well, and just for a quick glimpse as it went into some bushes, so here you go for that one too. Anyways, for RetroArch here, version 1.22.0 is going to be the latest and greatest update. And there is quite a bit of stuff in here, not just for desktop, but also for Android and also for Apple. I'm going to guess very soon there's going to be a real nice report written up by RetroArch talking about this update, what went into it and what struggles they had, what triumphs they had, and even more. Maybe not, who knows. Anyways, here, taking a look at some of these updates, some of the fixes some people might be very excited about. For example, fix heavy slowdown when using Bluetooth X input controllers with Rumble. On top of that, specifically to Apple, they've sped up Cloud Sync. And they also say here, reset and close content hotkeys now require confirmation, similar to quit. Menu toggle and hotkey enable can now be assigned to the same key. And for input here, for light guns, it says favor mouse coordinates. In my opinion here, version 1.22 of RetroArch seems like it's going to be a slam dunk for a whole bunch of fixes to fix a bunch of headaches, a nice quality of life update, and even more. Moving on, and we're talking about PlayStation 4 emulation with PS Off, and PS Off, or Piss Off, just got a brand new update here. So taking a look at the changelog, and they say this isn't a huge update, but there are some improvements. Some Unity games that used to crash on memory exceptions could do something now, probably. Additionally, this release fixes issues on multi-GPU setups and resolution picking bug. And speaking about developer notes, next up here we're talking about a really interesting article up on Gardner Bryant that I would recommend checking out. This one is titled Gamehub Lite, GameNative, and the Android PC Revolution, an interview with the developers. And it's by the one and only Dash. Now, if you've been paying attention to my YouTube videos, you probably know exactly what I'm gonna say here. The article is well written, it's very interesting, and I do recommend checking it out. I mean, if you're interested in kind of seeing behind the scenes in terms of emulator development and the people behind the emulators, this is a real great series, and I think this is a real great interview. On top of that, I didn't miss this shout out on the very bottom of that interview, and thank you, Dash, for putting that in. And also, if you guys wanted to see another bird, there's one behind me right there. Next up here, we're talking about Linux and Proton. If you use Steam on Linux or something like the Steam Deck, you're probably very familiar with Proton. And Proton Experimental just got a brand new update, and even more games are compatible now. So taking a look at their changelog here, and under Now Playable, they've now got listed Metal Slug Awakening, The Oppressive Shadow, Drop Dead, The Cabin, Lost Memories 3 Side Stories, Death by Scrolling, and Stellar Ranch. Next up here, we're talking about game modding, and if you're a fan of game modding and fighting games and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, you're gonna like this news here. There's a brand new trailer on YouTube I would recommend checking out titled UMVC3 Community Edition Character Reveal Trailer 2. And there's 5 characters they've added to the roster in this trailer. In my opinion here, the gameplay looks absolutely fantastic, and I recommend checking out the trailer. I'm not gonna spoil all of the characters, but they do have in there Darkstalker's Dmitry Maximov, and they have Professor X, but not confined to a wheelchair. And speaking about community stuff, last up here we're talking about UZDoom, or UZDoom, I guess, depending on where you are in the world. Anyways, we've talked about this one in the past. It's a fork of GZDoom after the whole falling out. Anyways, UZDoom has a brand new update. So at the time of filming, UZDoom version 4.14.3 release candidate 1 is the latest and greatest update. It's worth pointing out this is a release candidate and not considered a stable release. But they say here in the very first bullet, in terms of changes, multiple security fixes, this update is being deemed as critical, highly recommended to upgrade to it. For those who may be unaware, UZDoom is a modder-friendly OpenGL and Vulkan source port based on the Doom engine, and I really think that UZDoom is going to be the de facto version of this moving forward as opposed to GZDoom. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff, or actually a couple of fluffs. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.